Hey guys, it is Grimes again, and welcome to another episode of Pandemic Watch. Like, comment, and subscribe for new notifications on the coronavirus. This thing could save your life if you do this. Now, guys, I've been speaking about in the past episodes about the Spanish flu versus the coronavirus part one. Now, I was getting into that aspect about how the coronavirus has a crown. It's covered in a lipid membrane, and on the top of it has tiny proteins speckled around the top that look like crowns. So that's why it's called the coronavirus, because corona is crown in Latin. Now, the coronavirus is a strange virus, guys. It's brand new. But I want to bring you over the Spanish flu and to make a kind of similarity in which we could understand what makes these stuff similar. Now, the Spanish flu now is covered in the same kind of lipid, the same kind of envelope lipid structure, right? But both have internal capsids and use RNA, ribonucleic acid, instead of deoxyribonucleic acid, to insert their genetic information into the cells, use your cells to replicate more of the virus, and continue to and cause the cell to die via apoptosis. Now, guys, what we need to understand about Spanish flu and influenza are very important, and how they replicate. How they replicate is going to give us an idea of what we could do to curb this thing. Now, I want to show you some stuff here with the CDC. If you take a look at it, you're not going to see it properly. But I have some stuff, the Johns Hopkins information. Right? So it's going to show a little bit of stuff on the CDC with Johns Hopkins. Stuff like that. As you can see, 713,000 death estimated cases confirmed. That's a lot of cases, guys. It's a lot of cases. Right? Now, I'm just showing you this from the Johns Hopkins. Johns Hopkins is telling you everything. The U.S., 136,000 people infected. Guys, at this rate, we are looking at a real pandemic, and it is here, guys. So, bringing you back, the Spanish flu, how the Spanish flu infects you is by doing the same thing. Now, the size of the Spanish flu and the virus, as well as the coronavirus, are pretty much the same, with the coronavirus having a slightly larger size in terms of the diameter, which is 25 nanometers larger, right? So what is happening, guys, is with the Spanish flu, the coronavirus, if we are not careful, we could be infected, because if you take a look at the statistics, the Spanish flu, or generally influenza A, takes 1 to 3 days to inject its material into the cell. There's an incubation period of 1 or 3 days before you start seeing symptoms. This is Spanish flu influenza A. COVID-2, coronavirus 19, could take about 14 days for you to start seeing any changes in your body, right? I have a piece of paper here, so I'm going to go through it. So, the similar symptoms, now SARS-CoV-2 and influenza A generally has similar symptoms. This is the general influenza flu. So the influenza A would be the Spanish flu of the past, except the thing with influenza A is the H1N1 came from swine, which is pigs. Now, standard influenza A comes from aquatic birds, while the COVID-2 virus comes from bats, which bats are a reservoir of viral diseases. Bats are the most diverse set of mammals on the planet, and they live together so closely that they have no social distancing, so they can pretty much develop a large variety of diseases and viruses, which causes it to jump to human beings. Now, I'll give you a similar example. So, for the coronavirus, right? So, the symptoms list for influenza is fever, dry cough, and sore throat. So, these are the symptoms for influenza A, or Spanish flu as it would have been in the past, which is similar except less intensive. Now, the total number of symptoms in terms of the flu is fever, dry cough, sore throat, runny nose, sinus congestion, fatigue, and muscle aches. The coronavirus only has a couple of these symptoms. All right. So they only have a few of these symptoms, which would most likely be the runny nose, the sinus congestion, the fatigue, and muscular ache. Again, these are just initial understandings of the virus, guys. Now, the Spanish flu, how it killed is much faster. So the Spanish flu of the past killed at a faster rate. So you're looking at about 2.5%. While coronavirus, as we're seeing the numbers coming in, is becoming before in a couple of weeks before we looked at it at about 2.3%. Remember I mentioned coronavirus has a death rate of 2.3%. Right, compared to Spanish flu, which is 2.5. Now, in recent numbers, as we've seen the virus jump over to the United States, is showing that the Spanish flu has a kill rate of 4%. This is actually higher than the influenza epidemic of 1918 to 1920. We are not seeing anything yet, but this is what's showing what's the beginnings of a super virus, guys. 4% death rate. Ebola, 50%. MERS, 20%, 23%. SARS, standard SARS, 9% kill rate. But the thing about SARS and MERS is that these are not spreading as fast as the COVID virus. The transmission rate with the Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome and severe acute respiratory syndrome is pretty low. We're taking a look at this, guys, of how this thing has increased from 2.3% to now 4%, and it's spreading really quickly throughout the world. Now, guys, we haven't seen anything yet. We haven't seen anything yet, guys. We don't know what's the next plan of this virus's action. We know that there are 2 strains right now. 2 strains of the coronavirus that the media is not telling you about. 2 strains. Now, the virus multiplies at such a rate that it's changing so consistently that it's going to take a long while for any significant mutations to cause any drastic change in the virus. So right now, with the 2 forms of SARS-CoV-2, the changes between the structures of the strains are very minimal. So it's not going to cause much damage, but I'm scared, guys. I'm really scared because these strains are just growing. It's now starting. What if we have strains, guys, that could live in tropical weathers or in sub-Saharan Africa? What if we have strains, guys, that could literally jump the Atlantic? What if we have strains, guys, that could literally kill kids of the world, kill children? Right now we've seen older people dying. Now we've seen younger people dying. Now these younger people have underlying conditions, right? That's crazy. Younger people with underlying conditions, right? So now we've seen these groups. The other day we saw a woman, she died in England. A nurse died in Mount Sinai Hospital, right? New York. So the youth, this thing is now beginning to affect younger people. This is now, so we now see in a bell curve of how it used it in the past. We were seeing it only affect older people. Now we're seeing it affecting younger people with underlying conditions, guys. So this is why I'm still putting the Spanish flu as a little bit higher in terms of kill rate. But This is a concern, guys, because it's affecting people. Because the Spanish flu, it killed everybody. It killed soldiers. It killed everybody, guys. Right? We're in trouble, guys. We're in trouble. So we need to sort of supplement with stuff like zinc, garlic, a lot of herbs. You know, people know me. I'm the herbal guy, herbal master. I know a lot of stuff with herbs and stuff. Guys, we need to start a hunker down, guys. And social distancing is good. But it ain't the best, guys. We need to add that with immuno boosting supplements, guys. It's the only way, and they're not telling us this, guys. They are not telling us this. So, again, I'm gonna probably have a next video, part 3, on the coronavirus and Spanish flu comparisons. Right. So, like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Bang the bell for new notifications on this whole thing. Thanks a lot for supporting my channel. Goodbye.